We go on the topic of the moment. So
which is that?
You've seen Sin having to deal with concussion.
Yeah.
We're all arguing about Curtis, whether he should get 3 or 0. So where are we as a game about what is a perfect tackle and what's the responsibility in the game?
I did spend a little bit of time thinking about that because my personal view is it's an unfortunate suspension that, I would normally think that shouldn't be a suspension. But my educated view would say I'm not at all surprised it is a suspension in today's world. So I think it's just a change in landscape around, concussion and injury and all those things that go with it. Look, I think it's really unfortunate because Curtis didn't, in my view, didn't do too much wrong for what I seen, but I understand the consequence of concussion these days. So it makes it a real challenge. If you make that tackle, and I would have thought every player knows, if the tackle goes wrong, you could be in some trouble.
Do they need to change the grading so that it's not 0 or 3?
Again, that's not really my issue or my concern. I think that's clearly one for the AFL and the people who are making the sanctions. But it is a little frustrating one. But I think I could ask you all back. I don't think no one in this room was surprised that it landed where it landed. It's just a little unfortunate with our game today.
Just on, is it a tweak of the rules then to sort of accommodate football acts? Because if you fly for a mark and need someone in the back of the head and they can cuss you, fine. But if you tackle them, you can be out for 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, look, I can't really give you a clear answer because I think it's too many greys in all that stuff that we talk around. Football acts are football acts. They do happen. They're unfortunate. It is a contact sport. All those things go apart. You are allowed to tackle, but you've got to tackle with care, really. You've got to make sure that your tackle doesn't cause injury.
How does Josh?
Yeah, Josh is pretty well. I mean, he's obviously out this week and he's in the concussion protocols. He actually landed on the ball as much as he also got the head knock as well. So there was a little bit in his body as well as his head. So, but he'll be fine. He'll recover well and he should be available next week, all things being equal.
Where's this rated as a test at the moment, the Western Bulldogs and particularly Ballarat?
They're all a test. They're all great tests.
Is this one a rising them because of the form they've got at the moment?
Oh yeah, they're really good form, and they're quite different. If you think about what their some of their challenges, a bit like us, they're dealing with some key forwards out, whether it be Waitman and whether it be Darcy, we've got Marshall, we've got Lukosius. There's some differences in what we've had to do. Both sides have had to find their way to 4 and 3. Well, obviously we're clearly level on points, so it's an interesting game, and it's going to be. It's going to be one for both teams that they're going to be desperate to win.
It's making it easier or more challenging, Ballarat. They're not playing on their deck at Marvel, how do you
I don't know.
venue?
I don't know, we're undefeated at Ballarat.
Yeah.
You haven't been there for so long.
Maybe that's a good thing, I don't know. Things happen.
Yeah, sorry. You haven't been there for so long. Is that a factor, or how do you measure that?
Yeah, I think it's some part of the conversation that we haven't been there for a little while, but we have got, we've got some understanding of the ground. We know what it's like. We know what it presents. We know the challenges of playing at Ballarat. But once the game starts, we don't really look at the scenery too much to see where we're playing. We just play.
How do you replace Sin?
Oh, we've got some options. We've got some really good options, to be honest, available for us to consider. You'd know who they are. They're pretty clear. Logan Evans, Ryan Burton, those type of players who have played back. We've got Jace Burgoyne who can also. We're actually pretty lucky in that area of the ground that we've got some really good options that we get choice in. So that'll be interesting where we go after we have training today.
Have you seen Logan Evans? He obviously had that meteoric rise last year and fell a little bit out of form.
Yeah.
Subbed off, dropped.
Yeah, I think we support him pretty well. He's had a really great start to his career, and we put a little bit of a circuit breaker in it for him for last week to lessen some of the pressure applied by himself, probably more than anyone else. And sometimes that's the right thing to do for him. You can bring him back. Look, if we bring him back this week, we'll be really confident he could play well.
I think Connor in the past has not tagged Bontempelli, but just stood next to him at stoppages. He probably won't be there, so what do you do?
He's pretty hard to stop, Bont. No, look, it's we're just going to have to obviously do our work, and they've got a really good midfield. They've got some emerging talent in that midfield too. I know we refer to him as mini Bont as well. They've got nearly got 2 Bontempellis. That'd be pretty exciting for them. But we're pretty comfortable that our midfield are also very capable. But look, it's a great battle against the Dogs when you come up against such quality, and we look forward to that battle.
Travis is back.
Yeah, he's not ready to play this week, but it's an interesting one because we're not going to be quite sure until he's almost going to feel okay. He's had some more stuff done this week that I spoke to him this morning actually, and he's quite bullish about how he feels this morning. So hopefully that continues on, and he's not too far away from being available in the near future.
Super Patrick, where's he in the build-up at the moment?
Yeah, he's building. I mean, clearly he had his first game back last week, and he'd come off a long term, about 12 weeks. So he's going to take a couple of weeks to get some conditioning and some fitness into him. It's not his one wood. So he needs to just work away a little bit and get some good form. Plays a game probably this week in the sample, then he'd start to become a serious consideration for us.
What would you say to Sam Pepper on his journey to 150?
Just proud of the boy. He's just a great person, and the way he's gone about it and the challenges he's overcome. He's had some challenges, from a very young Sam to now a very mature dad, and an ACL. He's had lots of challenges. He's played midfield when he first got going. He's now become a really valuable member. He creates enormous spirit for our footy club, and he's a spirit leader probably, and we're all proud of him, and we'll look forward to hopefully celebrating with him on Saturday in his 150th.
Chase said that he apologised to you for how he behaved at 3/4 time. What's your sort of correspondence been like with him this week?
Oh no, it's been more than fine. I think that I was really proud of that situation. I've got to be honest with how our two leaders really took control, and as I've said about in the past, I speak to the leaders at all the breaks, and their decision to bring Jace into that conversation I thought was such a mature response, and because they know that he's playing against North Melbourne, they know, and we all know Jace is learning. There's not a young player in the game who plays like Jason Horne-Francis who doesn't have moments of frustration that boil over. I just thought our young captain and vice captain did an outstanding job of calming him down, and Jace, to his credit, acknowledged that, and I think we move forward with optimism that he's getting better every day.
Did he actually show how much he's grown as well in the last few years as well? He pointed to the Gold Coast game last year where he wasn't able to come back, but on the weekend he was able to get back and help you win the game.
It just shows growth. I mean, I'm proud of him for the way he's improving, and he's a targeted player clearly. But I was just talking about a little bit of this before with some of the coaches, that young talented players, pick ones, Nick Dacos, Jason Horne-Francis, Harley Reid, those sort of players, they get this targeting stuff happening to them from the day they walk in. They don't get that introduction moment where they, and what we know about all of them, that all those really talented players, is they're fiercely competitive. What we want. So they're going to respond, and they learn how to handle that response differently as they mature.
You've told us you've been different, you're building. Where do you think you're at 4 and 3?
I hope we're still building. That's what I expect that's the case, because we've still got to keep building. Our game's not in perfect shape, we know that, but I don't think there's not many in the competition that would say they're probably perfect shape yet. None of us have got our eyes on anything other than this week, I would have thought, in this competition, and that's what we do. We know how good we're going to have to be this week to beat the Bulldogs.
Is it a bit of a badge of honour? You have to go to Ballarat, Launceston, Canberra this year. Is it a bit of a badge of honour if you can go to those places and get the win?
I'll tell you after Saturday, because they're all challenges. They're all big challenges. But right now, all I'm focused about is playing the Bulldogs. As I said before, it doesn't really matter once the game starts where you're playing the game. It's all about how you play the game, and we know if we're off in any area, we'll get shown up against a high quality opponent. But if we can go to Ballarat and win, we'll wear it as a badge of honour.
If it doesn't really matter, the ones Carlton play at 5 venues this year and you play at 10.
I don't know. I don't set the draw. Can you explain it for me?
I'd love to be able to.
Because if I try to explain it, I'll probably get in trouble.
Someone not like you at the AFL camp.
Not sure. I would doubt that very much. Not entirely, but very much.